Why, hello there. Thank you for joining us today. This is Southern California's APWA COVID-19 series. How is it impacting public agencies? I'm your host, Tran. I'm the Southern California APWA chapter president, and in this episode, we'll be featuring Ms. Mary Joyce Ivers from the city of Ventura. Before we begin, I'd like to show you where is the city of Ventura. So city of Ventura is located just west of Los Angeles. And if you go north on the 101, you'll be certainly passing by the beautiful city of Ventura. Ventura does wonderful things. They're near the coast. There's inland areas, as well as other features. If you'd like, you can certainly go on their city website. There's a lot of information on their city website that features what you can do as a resident, as a business owner, local business, or if you're doing business with them. And you could kind of see that as I'm scrolling through their website and see what is going on with their calendar and as well as what's going on with the city of Ventura. In this episode, in this series, we're going to focus mainly on COVID-19 and what cities and local agencies are doing during these unprecedented times. So as you can see on this website, City of Ventura has a specific link to city service updates regarding COVID-19. In this web link, you could certainly see that they put a lot of effort into notifying and providing information to their community and anyone else that would like to know about what Ventura is doing. And that's why we have Mary Joyce Ivers here today. We want to go ahead and ask her some questions of how they're handling this pandemic. So without further ado, I'd like to go ahead and introduce Miss Mary Joyce Ivers to this episode. Welcome, Mary Joyce.
Thank you, Tran, so much for that great presentation of our beautiful city of Ventura. I'm happy to be joining you today and to share some of our best practices and lessons learned. I know through this, everybody's been innovative and working hard. And the most important thing is that we keep our families and ourselves and our communities safe. So I'm really proud of all the great work that our communities are doing these unprecedented times. So I am currently the Deputy Public Works Director with the City of Ventura over operations. I've been with the city over 27 years and I absolutely love living and working in our City of Ventura. And as Tran mentioned, as you drive by, please stop into Ventura. It's beautiful. We do have some wonderful things happening here in spite of the COVID, and we have a lot of best practices and efforts put in place to make people safely visit us if you need to. We have 110,000 population in the city of Ventura. We're a full service city. We have a franchise agreement with our waste hauler, as well as we are part of the Ventura County Transit Authority, but we have full police, fire, and all the services to help our community stay safe and delivering those services to our community. So thank you.
And Mary Joyce didn't mention it yet, but she is our national APWA president for 2021 and so, or 2020, 2021. So congratulations on that. Obviously, that's something huge. So we welcome our national president to this chat or this our chapter episode.
So thank you, Tran. Quite an honor.
Absolutely, and it's an honor to have you here. So again, thank you for being here. So we'll get right into it. So in regards to City of Ventura, you know, we have public services that we provide as a public works department. Could you describe the impacts and your operation during this pandemic? You know, specifically, you know, what's going on with ongoing maintenance, you know, maybe if you have CIP projects, you know, how are you accommodating some of the essential workers and businesses? And if there's any stories or lessons learned that you could share with the group.
Sure. Well, when we were notified of the shutdown in March 13th, which a day we'll never forget, we immediately got into emergency mode. We set up our emergency operations center. I was selected as the EOC logistics section chief, and we sent everybody home, and then we identified and determined what were the essential services that we included in our incident action plan for our city. And so pretty much it was great to see that all our public works services are essential. And so we put in place all the safety methods to keep our employees safe and who could work, as well as who could work remotely and how to keep everybody productive. It was wonderful of our mayor and our city manager to make sure that nobody went home without pay, and we all worked together to figure out how could we keep people working remotely at home, whether they did online training or they helped support the EOC. So it was really good efforts immediately put in place. One of the very innovative things that happened is our new public works director and executive team was using SharePoint and Microsoft Teams as our online tool, and it's been phenomenal to keep us connected and sharing information. And I think that helped add to our success of being able to respond and keep track of everything, and working together, identifying what our policies should be, what information we need to share, and what projects and services we could keep going. And then with the daily changes, with the different messaging that we were getting, we're part of the Ventura County Health Organization. So whatever our health department was instigating for Ventura County, our city of Ventura had to follow. So as you know, it was challenging with the different messaging coming out. And so we just responded immediately. We knew what we had to do and got everybody together to do that. Some of the highlights is one thing with, getting the proper PPE and safety equipment to all our employees to continue working. We have an on-site Napa IBS warehouse that we've had for years. And I know we have a lot of great contractors that support our communities, but having those partnerships really help because you could call on them and they would respond because you develop those great relationships. When we had to shut down our beaches and parks and our streets was, our barricade companies having those partnerships as well. So we were able to keep a good supply coming in for our logistics and supporting our emergency operations, especially with our police and fire departments as well, because they needed a lot of PPE because they were on the front lines and Public Works was right behind them.
Right.
So another thing that was interesting that we discovered, since we had the Thomas fire a couple years ago, we had leftover PPE and N95 masks. So we had a good supply to start with, and we were able to get a lot of hand sanitizer and such, because it's like, what do we do now to provide this equipment? I know other agencies probably had a harder time getting some of the equipment. We also, with the community out there, Patagonia has a headquarters in our city because they love living and being active in this area. And so they offered to make some masks for our police department and us, as well as we had some N95 masks with elastic that had broken. I mean, we had a lot. And so we were able to work to get them repaired because they are such a limited commodity that's important, and that we have it available too if we need to share it amongst our county partners as well. So that was an interesting thing that you don't think about. And here Patagonia stepped up for us, and I know other businesses as well. So pretty much it was business as usual, but changing, not putting two people in a truck. If you couldn't be social distance, you had to wear your mask. So that, as well as putting those safety precautions in place for our construction teams and our contractors, and making sure that we are social distancing and minimizing the spread throughout our community and amongst ourselves. So it was interesting, and people just stepped up and wanted to do what they could to help. So we kept our essential services going, just a little bit different, and adapting and being very resilient.
No, that's great to hear. And the one that you touch upon that I think resonates really well is that the communication you have, not only with your own staff or your department or city, it's that community and the businesses and the relationships you build to lean on them during these times. It's great to hear that local businesses are assisting cities to have that public-private partnership to assist during these times, because everyone's in this together. And I think
Right.
it's a beautiful thing. I'm happy that that's really what your experience has been with this, and hopefully we could beat this, and if we have to continue, it sounds like you're in hands. Um,
Yes.
as far as not only what you're doing as far as the pandemic, but are there any ongoing projects? I know we have a lot of private sector folks, consultants, contractors that have a lot of questions about what is the city of Ventura doing with your projects, your CIP projects or capital improvement projects. Are we delaying it? Are we accelerating it? How's the finance going? Are you still doing design work, and are you going to still take things out to construction during these times? And I wanted to see if that's something that City of Ventura would like to share, as well as what that means for possibly the private side with consultants looking for work during these times as well.
Right, Tran. Well, that's interesting. We were in the process of looking at our online development services and the one-stop shop, really making it more easier for our developers. We wanted to reorganize it and really looking at how can we improve our service to the developers and the communities and the contractors. So we were already in process with that. We were impressed with how LA County and other agencies were doing it. And we were researching how they were doing it. So we're in the process. And then when this hit, it immediately became even, it was a priority, but a higher priority of how can we keep this happening. So we were able to adjust. We were getting the technology was in process anyway to get the online system going, and it kind of just pushed us to get it implemented quicker. So this has happened in our community development department, but of course there's the collaboration with the fire department, public works, and then our water and wastewater team as well. So it's been going really well. I haven't heard too much issues right now from the developers. I think they were ready to adjust as well. And we're able to have people work within City Hall behind the scenes to help make this happen and to connect with people, through the phone or email and such. So we just jumped right in, and we're excited about this opportunity. So it really makes us be creative and really implement that. So that's one thing we're excited about keeping going. And then pretty much there were no other delays with our capital improvement projects. We have the funding now, of course, with everybody dealing with their SB1. We have projects in design. We had social distance field pre-construction meetings. We have our inspectors and contractors out there working as long as they've got their proper safety precautions implemented. We continued in some cases, because we did have to close our parking lots when our beaches and parks were closed. We took that opportunity to get the paving done because it minimized the impact to this community. We did other side. Now that we have everybody outside recreating and walking, we have a lot of sidewalk inspectors. So our sidewalks disruptions have increased a little, but it's giving us an opportunity to try new methods in doing that. And another thing that within our transportation team has put together, not only we celebrated Bike Safety Month in May, but also looking at offering a shared streets program. And so the 5 streets within the city that are not the major thoroughfare, but they're parallel to major thoroughfares and in residential areas, they closed the street to through traffic, residents only, and they wanted to open it up and widen it more than the sidewalks to allow people to walk and bike and, get out there and make it a safer area. And that information is on our website, as well as we were asking the community to give us a survey. So it was a good opportunity to test out where else might we need some more bike lanes and how can we help our community keep moving safely and recreating and get outside in the fresh air. So that was exciting and innovative as well to have that opportunity.
Absolutely. That is very innovative because, that's one of the things that you may not think about doing as far as a public works agency, that you could utilize, facilities that were a thoroughfare for just vehicles. Now that folks are, working from home a little bit more, that you may be able to repurpose. And so that's a really innovative thing that I'm very um, curious about. But I'm sure the program, it sounds like the program went well, and the community had great feedback in regards to utilizing the streets for biking and walking or hiking or jogging. So
Right.
kudos to City of Ventura.
Well, thank you. Yeah, our transportation team is pretty strong and very passionate about mobility. So it's great. Thank you.
Yep. And obviously, City of Ventura is not only uh, a city that has internal components to it, but also coastal components to it. So
Mm.
tell me a little bit more about how Public Works handled more of the beach closures and discussions of how that all went down.
Yes, we have beautiful beaches, and the city is responsible for a portion of the beach as well in collaboration with the state beach. So we have really strong collaboration. We also have the Coastal Commission, the state parks, as well as our city beaches and parks. And when the county overnight, literally, we had to respond within a day, decided that the beaches and parks needed to be closed down. And it takes a village, as you know, and so we all got together and worked through the messaging. And with our parks department took the lead in collaboration with our police department, and we put together what limited beach closures meant. And so there was a huge schedule out that we did for about 5 or 6 weeks, that we had education. And it gave an opportunity for some of our employees that were not working in the field, that were working at home, to get out and assist. So there was about 12 locations along our coastline, and would sit and like give people information just to remind them, please be safe. You're welcome to come on the beach, but you have to stay active, because at the time when it was limited closure during the peak of this COVID, that we wanted people to get outside, but we could not allow them to gather for their safety. And so we worked through that, and we had a lot of people out there, and it was just real positive. And I think people appreciated having that information and still having a place to enjoy our beaches, but they couldn't really do what they normally would have done, but at least it was an option for them to get out and be active and enjoy our beaches and bike paths and our parks. But we still, the parks you could continue hiking or walking through, but you couldn't play on the playgrounds and such. So we're looking to get those open soon. We did have to close all our public restrooms, but we had some porta potties out in certain areas for our homeless population. So that's another thing we immediately work with our county, is helping our homeless population get safely in a place where they could be and minimize the spread. And so now that our beaches and parks are open, but still with that safe distancing, we're excited to get them open as well. But it was a lot of coordination and collaboration to provide that opportunity safely for our community, but also to have the proper practices in place. So we're slowly looking now that our city, because our numbers were lower, we are able to open more businesses, and our community pools and personal care and stuff just starting to open up, which is good to see, but with all the proper safety permitting required. So yeah, it was a lot of work, and we had a lot of people out there giving an education to the people to keep them safe. So it was proud to see how everybody came together on that.
Yeah, and
So
for
that
the
was,
audience, if the audience can't see it, there is a link to the website that we were just on at cityofventura.ca.gov/COVID-19. These graphics are awesome. I think it showcases what you should and should not do, or what you're allowed to do or not allowed to do, and just practicing social distance, physical distancing. And so if that's something that as audiences looking through this and viewing this, these are great resources to have, and certainly available online.
mhm.
So what
Right, great. Yeah,
other
we
things
like,
has Ventura doing?
I mean,
All right.
sorry.
Just what other things Ventura are doing? It seems like you have the Main Street Moves movement here.
Yes. So we have a wonderful downtown within our city, and it's between our city hall and the ocean, and walkable, a lot of great restaurants, businesses, a lot of pretty unique and exciting areas. And we also have a public business improvement district within our downtown that we partner with. And it's another great partnership that we work closely with Kevin Clarice, the executive director, and our Estelle Booth, our economic development manager in the city manager's office. They came up with this idea, and we just opened Tuesday, June 16th, working together with our police department, fire department, our special events, code enforcement, the county for opening up our businesses. And so the streets were just, about 4 blocks were closed down. And so I was down there yesterday. You can just walk around, check out what's happening. And a lot of the businesses, with the approval of our ABC police officer, which is important because we have to comply with all the health and safety codes, they're able to expand their seating out into the public right of way, the sidewalks, and in the streets. And so I'm excited to go down there this weekend and, feel like I'm eating out again. So it's been a lot of work to put together, but we're excited to try it for 30 days and help people get out, enjoy the businesses, really jumpstart our economy and see the great things people are doing. So it's nice if you're tired of having your delivery or to-go food. Now you can go sit outside, enjoy the wonderful Ventura fresh air and the beach and walk around. And they will have activities available, and they're planning to have live music and such. So I'm excited to see it. So if you're in Southern California and you want to get away, I know our hotels are open and practicing the proper distancing and cleanliness. So you're welcome to come to Ventura. Let me know if you come visit. I'm excited about this. And so it's going to be great, and until we can get back to what our new normal is going to be.
Yeah, that sounds really great. The whole idea of dining on one of the main streets of Ventura is great. It's one of those things where it's like a closed down for like a farmer's market or something along those lines
Right.
in other cities that you see. But
Mhm.
Ventura doing this is huge, and being able to support local businesses as well as allowing them to dine, pretty much push out their dining areas so that they could practice social distancing, and allowing your community and those that want to visit the community to explore Ventura for what it is, especially during these hard times. I think people need a little bit of a relief from some of the stress that may be caused during these times. So no, I think Ventura is doing a great thing in regards to this movement.
Yeah, so please wear your mask. Our city council was approving a resolution that we had required to wear masks on Monday night. And then Governor Newsom came out as well. So, but we look forward to seeing you safely with your masks. So, but this, I wanted to, yeah, Tran, I wanted to touch on just, feeling the community and that we still have a lot of great work to do, and um, getting beyond just being stuck at home working remotely or COVID, of that feeling of normalcy, and we're out there supporting each other. One thing that we did was celebrating our successes. We had National Public Works Week in May, celebrating all the great public works professionals and first responders that we are. And one of the things we did at our Ventura chapter level is they were ready to present our Ventura County's Public Project of the Year to us. And so it was our California Street Bridge Pedestrian Enhancement Project with the new lighting that goes over the 101 freeway, and it connects downtown to the promenade and beach area. So when you do come to Main Street Moves, you can walk across this beautiful pedestrian bridge and go to the beach or back and forth and experience what downtown Ventura has to offer within our historic area. And so that was just one thing great to celebrate. We had our virtual council meeting. Lori Berry from our chapter made the presentation to our public works director. So it was good to keep that going and go, yeah, we do great things, and this is what we have to look forward to. And you just have to keep business going. And one thing that was fun is our past APWA president, Ron Calkins, was our amazing public works director. And he started our pancake breakfast to celebrate over 25 years ago. And because we couldn't have it this year, we did a virtual pancake breakfast, and we had everybody submit pancakes or breakfast videos or photos, and we celebrated that way as well. So I think that's what inspires me and gives me hope for all of us and our communities, is how creative and innovative we can be and to keep things going. And really it pushes us to think differently, but to make things better for all of us. So I think that was a great example of what we can do, and really looking at how are we going to be operating in the future working remotely. I know businesses are realizing we can be productive, and how does that look? And maybe that helps a little bit more with work-life balance and being able to work from home as well as getting in the office and interacting. So it'll be good to get back in the office, but it will be different, I know, to comply with all the COVID requirements.
Right. And for those of you watching, if you want to know what Chef Mary Joyce Ivers is cooking up in the kitchen, her pancakes, we'll link that down below if you want. But no, that
can
sounds great. That's something that like you're working with your staff and making sure things are light during these times is awesome.
Yeah, you gotta have fun.
All right. Well, the other part about this, talking about staff, really the downside, obviously, towards this pandemic is the possibility that your staff or employees may be tested positive for COVID-19. And if you've had any experience with that or any policies that might be in play if that were to occur in the workplace, do you have any suggestions, tips, or how you're handling that? And
Well,
advice.
at the beginning of this, we had pardon, sorry, Tran, what? Sorry.
No
Well,
worries.
at the beginning, yeah, this was the hidden, disaster. We didn't know what was coming, how it was going to hit us. Sadly, when we had the Thomas fire, it came, it went, and we were able to recover. This took a while to get into recovery because we didn't know what we were going to be dealing with, how many people would be exposed and what would happen, especially with having our frontline people and essential workers and police and fire. So through our safety section within our EOC, we immediately were requested to figure out were there hotels for self-isolation available, putting together isolation kits that had, sustenance, Gatorade and nuts, and we had cup of noodles and small, medicines in case one of our employees had to be self-isolated. And we put policies in place as to what that looked like. If you felt you were exposed, we had a policy that you're required to go home, self-isolate, and go to your doctor until you're cleared. We immediately started the wellness checks throughout. If you come into the office, you need to get your temperature taken and answer those questions. And I think that's what we will be doing when we go to businesses, as well as continuing when we report to work. We were able to get the antibody testing for the first responders and the employees initially, just to see what was happening within our agency, and now it's being offered publicly, as everybody knows. So those are some of the things that we did. We increased our janitorial services and put those requirements in place, and it's another partnership with our contractors that were able to respond immediately and do what they could to keep us safe and keep themselves safe because of the exposure. So a lot of this was put on through our Microsoft Teams and SharePoint site that was set up for our EOC, as well as our other public works efforts. We're able to share the materials. We put together our tasks so that we monitor what needed to be done and who needed to do it. What's important, as we all know, within our communities with the economy, and doing what we could for the proper documentation for potential FEMA reimbursement was real critical to make sure we followed all those protocols. We immediately had our city attorney and council and city manager declare the emergency, and then we were able to approve the policies and the logistics of what we needed to do, and hoping that we get our proper FEMA reimbursement for this, because it is adding up, as well as the impacts to our agency with our, lost revenues.
Right.
So those are a lot of things that we put into place to make sure our employees, and thankfully we think we did have an exposure, but we have not had anybody within our city agency test positive that I'm aware of, which is we're thankful and a blessing. And I think that's putting a lot of the precautions in place.
Right. It speaks well to the policies that you have in place that, you know, obviously do the best we can in regards to this pandemic and how we could practice what our health organizations are letting us know or telling us what we should be doing. That looks like a great program. For those that are viewing this, that we've used some acronyms in here, EOC, Mary Joyce, for those that are not working in the public agencies, could you elaborate what EOC stands for?
Sorry, we get used to our alphabet soup. Emergency Operations Center. So in any emergency, we have the Emergency Operations Center set up. Usually we're in the same room, and this was all remotely done. And you have your command staff with the incident commander, whether police, fire, but in this case was our city manager. You have plans and intelligence. I'm the section head for logistics. We have operations. And then, of course, the public information communication section and safety pieces. And so it's all the departments working together to ensure that we're addressing the situation as it comes about and what we can do to mitigate the impacts of the emergency and really address the issues with our community, and collaboration and coordinating with the other public agencies within our county and state. So it's part of the incident command, and we would have our weekly incident action plan put together to figure out what we needed to focus on and what we needed to implement at the time. So it's a state and federal setup, so it's been good to work through that. And one thing I wanted to add with communication, which was really critical, is our city manager, through video and through this great technology of webinars and GoToMeeting and Zoom and Ring and all those that we're learning to connect virtually. Every 2 weeks he had a city manager update, and anybody, we have over 650 employees, and at least half would be logged on every 2 weeks to get the latest information and to figure out what we needed to do to work together. So I think that helped us stay connected as a city agency and supporting each other. And I think it was important to get the information out and know what the priorities are for our city to address COVID-19 and what we needed to focus on. So now we're hopefully into recovery and repopulation and set up to address whatever the future holds. Hopefully we don't have spikes, but we're well prepared. And I think I will say, just because it's our city, but I think we've done a phenomenal job. Of course, there's always lessons learned and you learn as you go, but everybody's stepping up and trying new things, and really addressing these issues has been rewarding. And I'm proud of all our city employees of what they've done. And Public Works is always out there ready to respond no matter what the issue is, and to help support police, fire, and code enforcement and everybody within our community that needs to be supported.
Great. And, really to wrap this all up, we kind of touched upon it, and you're leading towards that, is that when we are able to kind of go ahead and meet again, or open up City Hall to the public, what's that outlook look for your agency, and what steps are you thinking of, or at least City of Ventura is thinking of taking once that hopeful announcement is made?
Mm-hmm. Well, we've been doing a lot of preparation through the operations section and planning to figure out what, and our safety risk management, what does that look like? What can we do to keep our employees safe and the public when they need to come get our services? So a lot of things were done set up online with technology so people could work remotely. But we could, like mentioned, we'll continue the daily wellness screening, making sure we continually have a strong supply of our PPE and cleaning products. We're continue to work remotely and stagger our shifts within the building so we can minimize exposure and keep it spread out and make it so that we can keep our city hall and our other buildings sanitized and clean and safe. We're limiting occupancy to conference rooms and the public areas as well as the restrooms, making sure, and we're having more frequent cleaning and such. Just yesterday, through Microsoft Teams and the Power apps, we're getting an app where all city employees have to watch the video to do the education piece to know what to expect when they do come back into the building. We've already had people, the essential workers, working in some of the buildings, but they've been taking these precautions as well. And then we've been doing the public meetings online, and those have been working really well with our council and providing for public comment and having people speak at our public meetings, which has been great. And it's just becoming, getting people used to how we're doing things and posting all the information on our website for a lot of information and who to contact and who can you call. And then opening up for the public, the development services is the majority is online, but you can have set up meetings eventually face to face. And I'm sure what all the other agencies and communities are doing is we've been putting up physical barriers and trying to improve those so we can meet with the public, as well as employees' interaction is really protecting us from the exposure. And we will be wearing masks, we will be washing our hands. If we use the copier, we're going to have to wipe it down. It's just putting those new methods in place that keep us safe, but keep us providing the services we need to do. So I'm sure with all the proper planning and what we've already been working on, it will be successful. And when we do open the public, it will be safe for them to enter, and we'll be welcoming our community.
Great, and it sounds like you guys are setting up for success too. So with that, that really does conclude our series for today. I would like to thank Miss Mary Joyce Ivers for her time today. Thank you, Mary Joyce, on our COVID-19 series episode. For all the viewers, thank you for supporting us. If you like this video and you'd like to know our future program, please click and subscribe and follow on YouTube and LinkedIn. Those will be provided in the links below in the descriptions. And so until next episode, this is Tran at COVID-19 series, APWA Southern California chapter. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Stay safe.